I love tech stuff. I love stuff that enhances my athletic performance. These new Alpha Fly 2s are one. Here we have this Trek. Well, Natasha enhances my performance, but also this Trek 6.9 SSL Madone. You've ridden this bike, Natasha. What do you think?
Yeah, it feels very rigid, stiff, smooth at the same time, although it is too big for my liking.
Yeah.
It's a 60, and these days I prefer a 52.
I hear you. All right, let's get into this bike. Thank you very much. Being lean, all right. Yes, my protocols for sure, but it's about, these are the material parts of my protocol, or the things that really, really make a huge difference and enhance. You know, I'm 45. Do you know how fat and lazy? Not lazy, because when you're eating, when you're not getting enough nutrition, you do become lazy. I should say, you know how fat and unfit, the level of cardio in Australia at my age, even at age 20, is quite poor, it's quite sad. I'm all about delivering the best results to people. I'm going to talk about one of my favorite bikes ever, the Trek 6.9 SSL Madone. Let's go. Okay, this is the Trek 6.9 SSL. What I love about this bike is that adjustable seat cap. You can get a longer one, a shorter one. You can flip it forward for aggressive, more steeper seat angle. A steeper seat angle equals more power, okay? But the UCI bans it after a certain point, all right? So that's why I don't follow the UCI rules, obviously. So I can customize my bikes for more power, more performance, etc. A crazy bike. This is the 700 series OCLV Hex SL tubing, which it's a aerospace defense level carbon fiber that only is allowed to be used in NATO approved countries. If the country is part of the NATO alliance, they can use the carbon fiber that's found in this actual Trek frame. The OCLV Hex SL compound there, the material. It's hand built in the USA. This frame is Waterloo, Wisconsin, and it is one of my favorite Treks ever. It's too big for me, so I'm gonna let it go, but it's amazing bike. I had one of these in a 56 a few years ago, and incredible bike. But I let that go as well because I got offered a crazy deal, and I couldn't say no to that. So, but yeah, it's a beautiful bike, and they don't make them like this anymore. Trek do not sell a bike at this level anymore. The latest Trek bikes, in my opinion, are garbage. Like, this is, it is sad. Like, normally with technology, like this camera here is an amazing camera. It's a Sony FX3. And the cameras get better, right? The cameras don't get worse with age, with time, in terms of product release. But road bikes have literally gotten worse. Like, look, there's hardly any spokes in this front wheel. And if you compare this wheel to one of the ones in the Tour de France today, you know, which Tour de France used to have like the top tier product, and now it's all purely about marketing. The spoke count is a lot less on this, okay, than you have on a road disc. So when you're riding along at 40k an hour, 50k an hour, where aero really starts to matter, you have the extra wind resistance and the extra spokes. Look, this is just blowing here, you know what I mean? It's just spinning, just in the carport air. So it's just, and the aero vibe of this bike, it's insane, all right? When I jump on a road disc brake bike, it's like running, like a good runner, a fast runner can still run really fast wearing hiking boots, wearing basketball boots, some Jordan 5s, all right? I can outrun most people in Jordan 5s because I've got running fitness. But if I want to run my best, I'm going to use a proper pair of running shoes, aren't I? Same with bikes. People are, oh, but you know, the pros on road disc, they don't have a choice. Basically what we're seeing now is basically like the top runners using Jordan 5s on the tracks pretty much, and they're using road disc, you know? That's the analogy, okay? So it's really unfortunate. So a lot of new cyclists get into the market and they never ever experience a bike like this. Everybody who's ridden this bike, this actual Trek here, fucking loves it. They're like, man, this is an insane bike. Like, this is just, wow. Blows your mind, okay? Just like when you use a good quality camera, a good quality phone, or a good quality computer, it changes your perception on things. Okay, so when you have product like this, it makes you want to ride. This is it's almost like a conspiracy out there where, I don't know what's going on. The average bicycle out there is garbage, right? You jump on it and you don't want to ride it. It's just absolute, it sucks, man. The average bikes in the street out there, they're heavy, they're junk, the gears don't work properly, the brakes, it's just blah, all right? If everybody got to ride bikes like this, we would have a lot more people out there riding bikes, okay? You go to Walmart or something, like the bike doesn't have to be so crap, all right? You go to your local Trek store or Cannondale store today, or Specialized or Cervelo or any of the brands, big brands. The bikes that are out there today are absolute fucking garbage compared to this, okay? They're hiking boots, they're Jordan 5s compared to those Alpha Flies, okay? That's the deal. So, I get the feedback from people. I buy and sell a lot of bikes, I just love it. And I'm like a Jehovah's Witness when it comes to rim brakes, performance bikes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, once you ride these bikes and you fucking get it, you can't go back. Unless you work in the industry, you don't have any choice. But as a consumer, I talk to so many riders out there and they're like, yeah, I bought the new Damano, I bought the new Tarmac, and yeah, it just feels sluggish, you know? I bought the new Focus, it's just these disc brakes, they're rubbing, they're noisy, blah, you know? So you don't get that full, honest opinion from the pro riders out there because obviously they've got to look after their sponsors. That's just how it is. But it saddens me, you know, like the bikes out there. And this year, the 2 Down Under, there was less people than ever before. And there's probably a few reasons for that. But even out on the road, like there's less people riding. And it's really, really sad. Like even local riders. You know, normally it's fucking it's insane. Yeah, did you notice that, Natasha, that there's less riders this year, even local riders?
Yeah.
On Norton Summit?
Yeah.
Like normally it's just a fucking poof, you know, and you can see on Strava as well. I looked at the Strava data, way less numbers, even from local riders. And I truly believe, you know, a lot of it is down to this low carb bullshit. So people do sugar-free diets and they lose their energy to ride a bike because when you got low glycogen, you just feel like shit, you got no motivation. There's actually a huge one. But then also the bikes, like you buy this new bike, and normally you get that new bike feels, but you ride it and you're like, yes, it feels like a fucking hiking boot. It feels like a Jordan 5, right? It doesn't feel like an Alpha Fly. Your bike should feel like an Alpha Fly, okay? If it doesn't, then get a bike from me or join my coaching group and I'll recommend what bike you should get. Recently a guy joined my coaching group and he was like, I want to get this Trek flat bar hybrid bike, and I'm not sure how much it was going to cost, but it's going to cost a lot more than a bike like this would. And you know, I said, don't do that. I said, this guy's like young and he's fit, he wants to get fitter. I said, dude, let me find a bike for you. He's in Scottsdale, Arizona. And we found him a Super 6, and I think it was advertised for, was it $1,500 or $1,200? You got it for $600, you know? And a nice bike, you know, a legit bike. Better than any Super 6 on the market today in a bike shop, brand new. Okay, so literally for $600 US, because he followed my advice, he got literally a better bike than the Tour de France riders have in this year's Tour de France who ride Cannondale or Pinarello or Cervelo or Specialized or any of the brands, you know, for $600 just because he took my advice. Now people out there go, that's not true. The experienced people go, yep, that's true, Harley's right. The noobs out there be like, oh, I just bought an SL7, I just bought the latest Canyon. Those bikes, they're just junk. They look cool, sort of. You know, disc brakes and road bike, yeah, it's like a gravel bike, it's all right. But the performance is, anyway, I rattle on a lot about that. But it just saddens me. It saddens me that a lot of people won't get to experience these bikes. It's really sad, you know. People who are carbed up, right? People who go, yeah, I'm going to carb up, but they ride these crappy bikes, man. You know, or crappy seats, or crappy shoes, or crappy stuff. Take my advice, get the best experience. Why do you think all my girlfriends get addicted to cycling? And they weren't cyclists before they got with me. Maybe they hate my guts, some of them now, you know, but they still ride a bike. Why is that? Because we get them on the right stuff, all right? You've got to have the right stuff. If you're not the right stuff, your motivation eventually is going to go away. This is an example of what I mean. Look at this bike here, like that seat angle, like these seats, they purposely slip. All these bikes, the seat slips, and then you're rubbing your freaking prostrate, your labia off like that. That seat angle, you know what I mean? The wheels are really small. These tires, man, you know, they just hold so much resistance on the road. Like these bikes aren't going to be ridden on the trail, so why don't they just give them slicks? You know what I mean? The gears are just clunky. You know, they're heavy. These bikes are so freaking heavy and slow to ride. The handlebar grips are really uncomfortable because they just cut into your ulnar nerve. They give you ulnar nerve compression, all right? It's often the levers are for people with big hands, okay? It's really, really sad to see. Disc brakes. What do you need disc brakes on a bike like this for? You know, it's just extra. Look at those spokes. So on a windy day, it just catches the wind more, slows you down. This bike's not motivating to ride at all. You know, not motivating to ride at all. You know, it's crazy. Very, very sad to see. Better than no bike, but this person's not going to ride this bike very much longer. They want to go, I got money, get me on a fucking Aprilia.